Hey guys, my name is Jerry and welcome to today's podcast.
And my name is Malo. Welcome again.
Malo, last time we had a discussion and we talked about how patriarchy has been abandoned. Fathers are now neglecting their sons. Mothers are blaming fathers for not being present dads. Today we're discussing a very interesting topic. That is feminism.
Yeah.
Please run our viewers through what feminism is according to a description by the Webster Dictionary. Alright, according to Wikipedia, feminism is described as the advocacy for human rights on the ground of equality of the same sexes. Do you think men and women are intrinsically equal, or do you think the fight for feminism means nothing today?
Firstly, before I answer that question, we need to firstly understand where this came from.
Yeah.
The fight for equality. You must understand that it started way back, dating back to the 18s, to the 1980s, somewhere there, where women were trying to fight for their equal rights to be recognized by men, to get equal opportunities, as opposed to getting the same job that a man would get, equal pay, and basically treated equally, because we saw a situation where women were not really regarded as human beings, but as property, which were possessed by men. And we saw a situation where women didn't even have the liberty to purchase goods at will, but rather they would use a male to purchase whatever. Hence, this ideology of women wanting to be equal and wanting to be considered as human beings. So, that being said, Mr. Jerry, where it came from, it was only right for the women to want to be recognized in that manner. But as opposed to now, I think we've already reached the point where women are recognized.
You think so?
Yeah, we've reached a time where women are able to get almost the same job as a male, and we are seeing a situation where a lot of employers prefer, in the current setup, Zambia, you find that employers are more comfortable employing a woman as opposed to a man.
Yeah. And you find that most people, out of graduates that come out of school, you find that over 60% are employed are women.
Exactly.
And the rest of the men have to fight for the remaining 30 or 40%.
Yes. And this has to deal with the ideology of men usually dodgy in some areas. So there's that attachment that people have put with women to say they're more reliable, women are more loyal, hence someone will an employer will prefer employing a woman over a man. So I believe in that setup, like work-wise, we've reached the point where women are getting their fair share of the cake. But obviously in some areas they're not getting their fair share. But generally, I think we've reached there. Now, the notion where women are fighting for equality and stuff like that, it's been driven out of proportion. Why I say so, Jerry, is because we see a situation where this motion has been already pledged and it has been won. The fight has been won. Women are already being employed. Women can go in the supermarket and buy their own. Women can own a business. A woman can own a business independently of a man. But now we see a situation where these young feminists that are coming up, and that's where it gets interesting.
Yes.
What really are they standing for? And what really are they fighting to actually, win? What's the motion now? Mm-hmm. I don't know what you think about that, Mr. Joe.
I love how you were able to walk us through the history of feminism, and I feel it's very important to understand where it all started from. You see, Zambia, you said, we had a conversation earlier today, you're like, Zambia has just become a replica of America. What happens in America 2 days later happens in Zambia. If it's a fashion trend, it happens in Zambia. If it's music, it happens. If it's cuisine, Salt Bay, if it's culture, whatever, it's like a carbon copy of what is happening in America. And the person who gets it closest to America will be rewarded by tons of likes on Instagram, tons of likes on Facebook. Now, when we go back to feminism and where it started from when women were fighting to, be equal participators in politics, voting. Women would go and rally and say, we need to be voting because we have equal say in how the economy is run and the state of the affairs of the country.
True.
That was like a first phase of feminism. A second phase came in where women started to say, we need equal pay at work. This is in the 1980s. We need equal pay. We need equal opportunities at work. Women need to be recruited in the army. Women need to be recruited in the mines, which of course didn't last long because women don't want to do the the
heavy lifting. Let's just say it.
Yeah. They don't want to be in the sewer lines, down in the sewer lines. They don't want to be on the power poles. They just want the money easy, like PR and marketing, very easy work. But they don't want to do the heavy lifting, just as you had earlier put it. And then there's this third phase of feminism that has swept across the country. The whole world as we speak, which is radical feminism, where they're trying to castrate the men of our society and replace them with this cisgender, this soft, this
tender
man
who's more understanding, who's more
in touch,
easy to move around and easy to control.
Who's more in touch with your
basically
feelings.
to walk you back from what you mentioned earlier, to say women do not want to do the heavy lifting. I would say it's not a matter of want, it's a matter of built, because they are not built for that job. Biologically, if we mention, if we go biologically, they're not built. So there's that. A man is biologically built to be stronger physically, to carry more weight than a woman.
And women don't like to admit this truth. They try and say we are equal, but it's not. A man statistically has a bigger brain than a woman. A man has got bigger lungs to absorb more energy, more oxygen, to attend to the muscle. A man's stature is built bigger. A man can go to the gym and gain tons in muscle, and a woman cannot do that. They can't even imagine the feat. The biggest woman who was a bodybuilder weighed about 200 pounds, but the heaviest man weighed about 300 pounds in bodybuilding, meaning the ability for the muscle to grow to its full potential in a man is higher than that of a woman.
Yeah, undoubtedly that's true. They are not really equally, we are not equally built with women. It's a biological truth that we cannot run away from. But we cannot run away from the fact that women actually contribute. Actually, their contribution is valuable when it comes to their sector of strength. Their sector of strength is being able to be that emotional reason, because they are more emotional grounded than men. They're more in touch with their feelings than men. You find that in a situation where maybe someone dies, a woman will be able to project their emotions very well. So you find that they are able to heal faster because they deal with that emotion right there and there. They'll cry, make noise, and the man will bottle it in, and maybe it will take a long time for a man to actually reach the stage where they actually break down and start crying. So they have that ability, and it's a superpower. We're not taking it away. But the fact is, we are not equal. And if we're equal, it wouldn't be interesting, would it? Because we need to complement each other, just like there is positive and negative to make electricity. Yeah. So we need a woman and a man to make, a superhuman being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if we go back to our biological
differences.
You find that a woman is built to procreate, and I would dare call her a porthole of life. And that's the most beautiful thing. She's able to bring life into the earth, and it's a point that we need to note out to say it's beautiful. However, if we go to the now culture who's trying to carry the banner of feminism and stuff like that, we cannot talk about feminism minus talking about masculinity. How important is masculinity? From your own point of view, what do you think? How important is masculinity itself?
Masculinity is necessary. Mm-hmm. It's the thing that has built the entire world that we live in. The electricity, the energy that comes from the power lines, the hydroelectricity, the nuclear power plants. Men built this world. Men are the ones that are running this world. By running, I mean sustaining the energy that we have. Mm-hmm. By running, I mean sustaining the tech and sustaining the water and sustaining the sewer systems and sewer plants in every city. Mm-hmm. Men are the ones that are here breaking their backs, not to oppress the woman. When a man gets paid, he doesn't say, I'm going to make this money to oppress that. The man works hard in order to put food on his table, to put clothes on her back, to put a shelter over her head. These men are not there to oppress. And the reason to why these feminists are crying, they keep saying, we need to be equal because these men are oppressing us. No, these men are not oppressing you. Far from it. These men are working in order to put a smile on your face, in order for him to have dirty hands and for you to have clean hands. Now, the third wave of feminism, before I was interrupted by what you had earlier said, is this wave of having women cut down and curtail masculinity. Being macho has now been looked down upon. Mm-hmm. If you're a man, they'll look down. He's supposed to be cut down, and they'll shame you for being a man. How do they do this? They're implanting in them a seed in the minds of men. You have to be in touch with your feelings. Let's talk about depression. Let's talk about how you feel. But no. Me as a man, whether or not I feel good or bad, I have to get my ass up and go for work and put bread on the table. Me as a man, have to get up, make sure that rent is paid at the end of the month. I don't care how I feel. I'm a man. I do what is necessary. Now, here's the notion that you have to be weak. They're trying to weaken our men. Why? So they can easily manipulate and control the masses. When strong men come together, there's an uprising, like we saw in the Arab Spring. We saw the wars that started in Libya, in Lebanon, in Syria. Men came together and they fought for one cause, to bring down Gaddafi, to bring down the regime that was there for years. Now, here's the thing. When they weaken the men by saying, you men are supposed to be in touch with your feelings, what happens to the men? Have you ever seen the Ben Lombe situation that's happening? These men are now becoming so weak, they're beginning to dress like women, talk like women, act like women.
They're losing their sense, sorry to cut you short, they're losing their sense of belonging. They don't know where they belong, hence they just pick the easy one, which is like the cisgender.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the Ben Lombe situation comes in.
Exactly.
Now, to those that do not know what masculinity is, the definition according to the Webster on Google is masculinity are qualities or attributes regarded as characteristic of men. Example: handsome, masculine. A man is supposed to be the muscle, the muscle, the making of the opportunities, the fighter of the family, the protector and stuff like that. And the female is supposed to be the inspirer who will bring encouragement to the man to say, we cannot do it, we can do it, and we have to do it. And on top of that, they are the ones who help take care of the man so that he can have extra strength to go back and fight for the family. The woman is also there to take care of the children in a setup of a marriage or stuff like that. They're there to... This structure is seamless. If only we can stop complaining and always choosing the easy way out and start, sis, we've been cooking for a long time, we want the man to now cook. We're no longer living in a generation where if we're married, like now couples, do you think now couples have the luxury to to cook and prepare their own dish?
No.
Maybe wash? Because we have a culture now where the woman is working independently, the man is working independently. We both leave at 6 or 5 in the morning to go and work and come back maybe at 18 and 17, right? Come back home. Both tired. So we have now an opportunity that has now mushroomed where there's house help.
Yeah, the maid.
The maid, you know. So go around the houses of Lusaka, you know, the middle class and the high class. You find that they have help in their house, right? It's just a narrative. The woman is no longer cooking, but you find her complaining and saying, oh, we need men to take up the roles. You need to cook. It's okay to cook. It's no longer relevant for the man to cook, for the woman to cook for the
It's no longer relevant for her to clean the house.
Exactly, because we have the help who's doing that for us.
It's no longer necessary for her to spread their matrimonial bed. It's
I think there's a line where we need to take care of our own things.
Our boxes.
Yeah, I think there's a line. There's a line where...
This is where this entire thing is going.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is the responsibilities way back were, you know, the household responsibilities were entirely handled by a woman, undoubtedly, right? But now we have a situation where the woman is also going out there to work. So meaning the house help is there now to wash the clothes and stuff like that. But there should be a line where the woman still takes care of the man through washing the boxes, through spreading the bed. The little touches in your bedroom should be handled by a woman, undoubtedly.
Now imagine she says, I spread the bed yesterday. Spread.
That's disrespect.
So that is disrespect.
That's disrespect.
So if
according to our African culture, that's disrespect.
So if a woman gives you the broom and say, baby, sweep the bedroom today, I'm actually feeling romantic. I'm going to give you sex. That is disrespect.
It all depends on the mood. I shouldn't be subjected. I shouldn't be now pushed to the wall with the gun on my face to say, you do it now because I do it. It shouldn't be so. Because look at how we as men, even after the whole fight of equality has been there, we are subjected to bring our funds on the table for the family. The man's money is our money, and the woman's money usually is her money, and her family's money. You know what I mean? So those dynamics to say, if I'm bringing 70% on the table, I should be able to get some advantages of being taken care of, extras. Yes. I should be able to be taken care of. My bed should be able to be spread for that extra 30% that I'm paying.
Should be cleaned.
Exactly.
So, moving into this feminist world where women are working and men are working, how do you think we resolve it?
Resolving it, moving forward, firstly, we need to understand that we're evolving. Yeah, it's a culture that humanity has been known for evolution. We keep on evolving and changing, We keep on elevating. So meaning where we are at now we can never reverse what's happening now. We cannot reverse by saying, oh, the woman should stop working and stuff like that. Now, how do we now move forward with the current setup? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Instead of competing against each other, the woman should be able to understand her roles. Even if she's a CEO at work and comes back, I'm not a CEO, she should be able to respect me as a man because I'm built to want to be respected.
Yes.
It's part of my needs.
I discovered the modern culture has dictated the traditional roles of men are being overlooked. Are being expected by the women, but the traditional roles of the women are being overlooked.
Exactly.
So the traditional role of a man is to provide and to protect. When you go on a first date with a girl, she's going to expect you to provide for her. If you're going out on a concert, she's going to expect you to protect her. And they feel entitled to this. And rightly so. Because you as a man, you're built bigger, like we earlier said. You're built superior, both in physical stature and intelligence. You're strong. So you protect and you provide. That's traditional. But on the flip side, what are her expectations? You are a helper. According to the Bible, Eve was created to help Adam, the helper. How do you help clean my dishes? How do you help clean my house? How do you help wash my clothes? How do you help? These are the traditional roles of a woman. Prepare food, clean, take care of the children, traditional roles. But now the feminist revolution is overlooking this. They're brushing it aside. They're saying, no, 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 no. You're a liberal woman, you're independent, you can make your own decisions. You do you and let him do him. So these are now double standards. My last point in the third wave is how they have created such weak men. We saw it at the Lusaka July recently. The guy that was in lashes and a jacket and whatever, very controversial, he said something very disturbing on TikTok. He mentioned, the reason why I'm happy is because I serviced my man. Serviced my man. And you see how disgusting it is. It's not because this guy is gay. It's because this guy is gay and he is projecting it on TikTok. Now, what is the problem with this? TikTok is a platform where the youth are. The young teenagers who are seeing this boy project his mind.
A peer. Let's call him a peer.
Oh, we'll call him a peer. We'll call him a peer who speaks his mind, but then he is corrupting the morals of the younger generation coming up. They will think it's okay, one, to be homosexual.
They'll be programmed, actually.
They will be programmed to think that it's okay because the world has rewarded a guy who was homosexual. He's now at the Lusaka July. He has accomplished everything success deems of a man. And a man who has been turned into a woman has become a role model, has become an icon. Now, here's the problem number two. The problem number two is that they have turned it into a normal thing for a man to dress up in a robe, for a man to wear lashes, makeup, do hair like Ben, who was one of the pioneers. And they have made it an okay culture for a man to be softened to that extent. The damage this has caused is what you will see fast forward in America, where children are now having gender reassignment surgery. As early as 8 years old, a child can decide, I no longer feel like I want to be a boy. I think I can be a girl. What's going to happen to a guy, to that boy? He's going to be castrated. His organs are going to be severed and he will be a woman. A tunnel will be dug into his flesh and he will be a woman. What's that going to do to our generation? One, the impact is that we're not going to have a third or a fourth generation because our men have been castrated. Two, what is it going to do? It's going to damage, not only is it going to cut the bloodline, but two, it's equally going to damage the relationship that men have with women because everybody will be manipulated into believing one big lie. This is an example of a collapsing society. When you see that the men are so weak and they've been castrated, that's when you attack. Now, which society do you think promotes this cisgender, this transgender women who are celebrated? The American culture.
Exactly.
Western culture. But who are the guys that are against it? China, Russia, these guys.
India.
You try and be homosexual in any way, they will cut you off. These are rising societies that will eventually overtake the West. And we can see it coming. We can see this is a collapsing empire that's going to be taken over by this. Because if the Russians and the Chinese come together, my guy, we don't know what World War III will look like. But definitely the weekend men who have been cisgendered, my friend, will be butchered. There was a thing that I watched in a podcast by Joe Rogan. He said, you see, it is better to be a warrior in a garden than to be a gardener in a war. You see, as a man, you have to be vicious. You have to be a monster. And then you've got to curb that quality in order for you to fit in this society. So we have to be tough and speak against this idea of we've got to cut that shit out.
It's either you are or not.